Matthew chapter 9 verses 18 and 19 says, "Of him or Jesus speaking these things to them, behold, a certain ruler having come was kneeling down to him, saying, My daughter presently has died, but having come, lay your hand upon her, and she will live. And having arisen, Jesus followed him, also his disciples." Matthew chapter 9 verses 23 to 26 says, "And Jesus, having come into the ruler's house, and having seen the flute players and the crowd making a commotion, he says, Go away, for the girl is not dead, but sleeps. And they began to laugh at him. And when the crowd had been put outside, having entered, he took hold of her hand, and the girl arose. And this report went out into all that land." Mark chapter 5 verses 21 to 24 says, "And Jesus, having passed over again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd was gathered to him, and he was beside the sea. And one of the synagogue rulers comes, named Jairus, and having seen him, falls at his feet, and he begs him much, saying, My little daughter is holding at the end, that having come, you would lay the hands on her so that she might be cured, and she shall live. And he departed with him. And a great crowd was following him and pressing in on him." Mark chapter 5 verses 35 and 36 says, "Yet while he is speaking, they come from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying, Your daughter is dead. Why do you still trouble the teacher? But Jesus, having heard the word spoken, says to the ruler of the synagogue, Do not fear, only believe." Mark chapter 5 verses 37 to 39 says, "And he did not allow anyone to follow with him except Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And they come to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and he beholds a commotion and much weeping and wailing. And having entered, he says to them, Why do you make a commotion and weep? The child is not dead, but sleeps." Mark chapter 5 verses 40 and 41 says, "And they were laughing at him or Jesus. And he or Jesus, having put all outside, takes with him the father and the mother of the child, and those with him, and enters in where the child was. And having taken the hand of the child, he says to her, Talitha koum, which is translated, Little girl, I say to you, arise." Mark chapter 5 verses 42 and 43 says, "And immediately the girl arose and began walking, for she was 12 of years. And immediately they were overcome with great amazement. And he or Jesus instructed them strictly that no one should know this, and he commanded to be given to her to eat." Luke chapter 8 verses 40 to 42 say, "And when Jesus returned, the crowd received him, for they were all looking for him. And behold, a man whose name was Jairus came, and he was a ruler of the synagogue, and having fallen at the feet of Jesus, he began begging him to come to his house, because he had an only daughter, about 12 years old, and she was dying. And as he went, the crowds were pressing around him. Luke chapter 8 verses 49 and 50 says, "Of him still speaking, one comes from the synagogue ruler, saying, Your daughter has died, trouble the teacher no longer. But Jesus, having heard, answered him, Fear not, only believe, and she will be saved." Luke chapter 8 verses 51 and 52 says, "And having entered into the house, he or Jesus did not allow anyone to go in with him except Peter and John and James and the father and the mother of the child, and all were weeping and mourning for her. But he said, Do not weep, for she is not dead but sleeps." Luke chapter 8 verses 53 to 56 says, "And they were laughing at him or Jesus, knowing that she was dead. And he, having taken hold her of hand, called out, saying, "Child, arise." And her spirit returned, and she arose immediately, and he directed to be given to her to eat. And her parents were amazed, and he instructed them to tell no one what had happened. Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, Jesus Christ said, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed in all the earth, for a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come." To the one listening, always remember that Jesus Christ loves and cares for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you believe it, please subscribe, like, comment, and share so that others will know this truth. And don't forget to click the bell button so you will be notified of my next videos.